What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. I think I don't really need to explain this one. This one's been a long time coming. I know I say that frequently with videos, but that's because I only really like to choose the videos that are suggested a lot, and this one's always suggested, but I never really knew what to do with it. Also, I never really knew when to premiere it, but I think now is a fitting time because it's April, it's the 4th month of the year, so I guess that's the way I'm going to justify it. Really, this should have been an April Fool's scenario, but I digress. After a lot of time thinking of how I would do this, and waiting for Dokkan to drop more art of it, I think I'm finally set on a way to do this that'll actually make it pretty interesting. Although I'm not sure if this is going to be a one-off or if this is going to turn into a full thing, so I'm going to leave that up to you guys. For this video, we'll set a like goal of 4444 likes. I think that's fitting, and I don't really need to explain why I chose that number. If we hit that weird like goal, I'll continue this scenario onwards and it'll become a full series. Anyways, let's begin the story and discuss what would happen if Super Saiyan 4 was canon. At least my interpretation of it. So, how would I even introduce this here, and what am I going to do in this scenario? Well, one of the things that should be clear here is that this is going to be Super. I have done a bunch of scenarios before where Super Saiyan 4 is involved, but never one that actually centered around Super Saiyan 4. And this scenario is going to be the latter of those. It's going to actually center around what would happen if they got Super Saiyan 4, but when would that happen and how? Well, I think I have the perfect idea of how to introduce it. So, after the Buu saga, right now it seems like Super Saiyan 3 is the highest thing they can go to. Naturally, they want to see if there's anything above it. A Super Saiyan 4 maybe, but they kind of doubt it. Goku tries to train at Super Saiyan 3. He wants to make this work. He knows it has flaws, but it's powerful. And maybe he can figure a way around it. What else can he do to grow beyond this? He continues training with it, trying to figure out a way to improve this form, if there even is a way to improve this form. And as for Vegeta, well, he wants to do his own thing. Yeah, he could get Super Saiyan 3, but he didn't go for that originally, so I don't see why he'd go for that here. It seems like there's too many issues with it, so he doesn't really have a use for it. Instead, he's going to try something different. He wants to get stronger and maybe find a way beyond Super Saiyan 2 without using Super Saiyan 3. So he spends a lot of time training and thinking about it. What the hell is he supposed to do? But one of the ideas he gets is from a surprising place. It's from Bulma. She suggests something about that monkey form. She remembers that Saiyans are able to actually turn into giant apes, whatever that's supposed to be. Oh yeah, that form. The Great Ape, the Ozaru, whatever the hell you want to call it. That form used to be what the Saiyans used all the time. It was the strongest thing they had, and it's how they used to conquer planets all the time. Although compared to Super Saiyan, it's incredibly weak. And it's not really that convenient. I mean, look at Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan, you're the same size and you just get a lot stronger and faster. With Great Ape, yeah, you do get stronger, but then you turn into a giant target. And you need a tail for that. Vegeta doesn't have his tail anymore. Although, he still does have a stub. He forgot about that too, but Bulma points it out. But what the hell is he supposed to do with that? It's not a tail. Well, he doesn't need to do anything. Maybe she could figure out a way to actually use this. Maybe if she just collects a sample from the tail, she could study that and figure out a way for him to transform without a tail. She could just use the cells in that tail and see how it reacts under a full moon. Well, he doesn't know what she's going to do with it, but he won't question it. If she wants to do that, it'll be a nice fun project for her, and maybe it could help him get stronger, so he tells her to go ahead with it. Now, Bulma's obviously pretty smart, and she can work pretty quickly, especially with something like this. I mean, it's actually kind of simple on the surface when you think about it. She's just studying how cells react under certain conditions. Considering the great things that Bulma's created in her life, yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out something here either. Eventually, after her research, and some explanation from Vegeta about the Blutz waves and everything, she figures it out. She can just make a machine that creates Blutz waves. Vegeta's kind of shocked to hear this. Doesn't that sound dangerous? I mean, she wants to pump him full of radiation, essentially. Well, it's not just any kind of radiation, it's from the moon. Yeah, that's not really that comforting. But maybe this could work, and he wouldn't really need a tail for it either. They'll just force the transformation out of him. Well, he's not going to question it. It might be worth a try. They go out in the middle of nowhere with the new Blutz wave machine. Vegeta's bombarded with these Blutz waves, and sure enough, he actually does transform. Wow, this is weird. It's been so long since he's transformed into a Great Ape. Of course, Vegeta has perfect control. I mean, we've seen him use this form before, and unlike other people on Earth, he's the only one that actually knows how to use this form efficiently. Or I guess a better explanation is he's the only one who knows how to use it at all. Goku would go on and use it, but they had no control, and no one else has used it besides them, at least on Earth. Okay, this is great and all, so the research worked and he was able to transform into a Great Ape. But what is he gonna do with this? Well, maybe he can combine Super Saiyan with it somehow. I mean, it sounds kind of outlandish, but Super Saiyan on top of a Great Ape, it might not be that hard. Consider the knowledge he has about Super Saiyan and all the experience he has with this form. He and the others have practiced with Super Saiyan for so long that they can do it without any issues. I mean, they could use it just as efficiently as their base form now. So maybe he can use it on top of a Great Ape form. I mean, when you think about it, they are different forms. It's not like Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2. Trying to combine those would be impossible because one's just an evolution of the other. But Super Saiyan and Great Ape, they're separate. It might actually work, but it could be risky. I mean, Vegeta does have control over Great Ape, but who knows? Maybe he'll lose control if he goes into a Super Saiyan while he's a Great Ape. If that's even possible. Well, it's still worth a try. But there is an issue. If he does go out of control here, he needs someone to stop him. And he didn't really want to reveal this yet because he didn't want to get people too excited, and also he kind of wanted this for himself. But he decided it's probably best to have Kakarot here, just in case he needs to be stopped somehow. Think about it, if he starts rampaging, what's Bulma gonna do against him? Try to cut off his tail? That's not gonna work. He's a Super Saiyan Grade 8. Nothing's gonna work against him. Goku's filled in on all this, and he thinks it's awesome, but he still thinks it's risky too, which is exactly why they have him there. So he watches. Vegeta turns into a Grade 8, and then he tries to go Super Saiyan on top of it. Now, this is weird. He's never gone Super Saiyan while a Grade 8, so it's not like he can instantly do it, but after some tries, he's eventually able to accomplish something. A golden aura surrounds him, and he becomes a golden Grade 8. And sure enough, just like they assumed, he ends up losing control. Oh crap, now he's going on a rampage. Thankfully, they're in the middle of nowhere, and Goku's there ready to stop him. Should he cut off the tail? I mean, that might be the only way to stop him. It grew back when he transformed into a Grade 8, but if he cuts it off now, it's not like it's gonna do anything. Vegeta won't care, right? He didn't have one beforehand. So Goku powers up, going into Super Saiyan 3 because this is really the only way he can actually counter Vegeta right now. And even then, it's still not enough. He tries to fight him and hold him off, while also trying to reach the tail, but Vegeta's completely berserk. Although, something begins changing. His eyes lock onto Kakarot, and then he turns over to Bulma. These two people in front of him. He's recollecting the sense of himself, and they notice him stop. What is he doing? He's trying to gain control over this, and suddenly, things start getting really weird. He powers up, but he starts shrinking too. Oh cool, maybe he learned to turn this form off. That's nice. And they watch on. As he continues shrinking, they realize something's really strange about this. He doesn't turn back into his normal humanoid form. No, he turned into something completely different. Vegeta can feel power coursing through him, but he doesn't know what happened. And then he looks down and he sees his arm is covered in red hair. What the hell? He looks around, he still has a tail and he has more fur all over him. It's not just his arms either. And he even notices his hair's longer. He can't see, but Goku and Bulma can. Holy crap. This looks awesome. Or at least that's what Goku says. Bulma's kind of freaked out by it. They then get him a mirror and he looks in it, seeing his face. What the hell is this? The power of a Grade 8 and Super Saiyan, while in his humanoid form. He has no words. This is incredible. That's why he feels so strong. He was able to actually do it, but once he actually gained control over the golden Grade 8 form, he became whatever this is. Wait a second. This is it. This is what he was looking for beyond Super Saiyan 3. Why not just call it Super Saiyan 4? The name alone gets Goku hyped up, and now he wants to test Vegeta's power. The two of them start a battle, with Goku even going to Super Saiyan 3, but even with this form, it does absolutely nothing to Vegeta. Vegeta's so far ahead of him. He's that far beyond Super Saiyan 3 that he does this effortlessly. It's insane. Neither of them know what to think. And of course, this does seem draining right now, but he can definitely get a control on this. And unlike Super Saiyan 3, it probably doesn't have the same issues that Kakarot's having with that form. Vegeta sees the potential in this form. It's incredible. He's definitely going to keep working on this. And now, Goku wants to do the same. Although, he is going to be a bit behind because first of all, he has no control over regular Grade 8. And then he's going to have to get control of Golden Grade 8. Vegeta's ahead solely because of the fact that he has control in that form. Although, Vegeta's prepared to help him. I mean, he does need someone to fight him while he's in this form because right now, he's so far ahead of everyone, which is nice, but he does want someone to actually test this power out against. So they begin working on it. Goku eventually gets a control on Grade 8, and then goes into Golden Grade 8 and turns Super Saiyan 4 himself. They're both elated. This power. They've both never felt anything like it. And now, Vegeta's actually ahead, meaning he's the strongest here. He got Super Saiyan 4 early on, and he's actually a few months ahead of Goku in terms of power, solely because of the fact that he got Super Saiyan 4 so early on. And over the next few years, they continue working with this form. Thankfully, there's no threats to Earth just yet, but it's good to have this power just in case. They never know when they're going to need something like it. The power of this form is godly, but is it godly enough? Technically, no, it's not godly at all. And they're about to find out really shortly, because soon after, Beerus ends up waking up from his nap. He has visions of some sort of Super Saiyan god. It's a premonition. He wants to get a rival, and it's going to be some sort of Saiyan, but he doesn't know where to find them. Well, thankfully, there's a couple on Earth, and from what Whis tells him, they're pretty strong. Really now? It looks like Beerus is going to have to test this out. His first stop is King Kai's planet, and he questions King Kai about Earth, and then ends up meeting Goku there. And Goku's pumped up. King Kai keeps warning him about Beerus, but he wants to have fun with this fight still. He tries all his forms against Beerus. Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. None of them do anything to Beerus, but he still has one more form that he could use. By now, they could do this without a Bloodwave machine. They could just transform into this form willingly. He tells Beerus this is his ultimate form. He doesn't know if it's comparable to a Super Saiyan god or not, but it's worth a try. He powers up. A brilliant aura surrounds him, and Beerus knows that this is different. His hair, it grows longer. He gets fur on him, and his face changes too. As well as him growing a tail, he tells Beerus this is Super Saiyan 4. This is his current ceiling, but he knows he can go beyond this. He begins fighting Beerus, and Beerus is actually pretty shocked. This form is pretty powerful, at least for a mortal. Of course, it does nothing to him, but the comparison of power when he looks at that compared to Super Saiyan 3 beforehand, it's insane. And the way Goku's fighting too with it, it's great. This is actually pretty fun, but it's definitely no Super Saiyan God. And he wonders, what about the other Saiyans on Earth? Well, Goku comments that Vegeta is a little bit stronger than him, although he's catching up to him. He wants Beerus to know that. Vegeta? That's a name he hasn't heard in a while. So he has the same form too, and he's a little bit stronger than this guy, Goku, right? Yeah, that's actually the case. Perfect. Beerus is elated. He ends up going to Earth, crashing Bulma's party. And he does enjoy the food there, but his first order of business is to actually fight Vegeta. He wants to see Vegeta's power in Super Saiyan 4. Damn that Kakarot. Of course he told Beerus all about this. Well, he has no other option really, so he decides to fight Beerus, going into Super Saiyan 4. And, just as Beerus thought, Vegeta is actually a little bit ahead of Goku. He seems to have a better knowledge of this form, and he's a little stronger too, which is nice. He is impressed, but he knows they could definitely go beyond this. I mean, he did have this premonition of a Super Saiyan God after all. Well, maybe there is something else they could do. They have no idea what a Super Saiyan God is or how to get one, but they could probably try fusion. Fusion, like what the Metamors do? Yeah, they tell Beerus that. Well, Goku does. Vegeta doesn't really want to do this, but he really has no other choice. Maybe this will impress Beerus because he doesn't really want to anger him, and even though he doesn't like the idea of fusion, whatever, he's gonna have to try this. That stupid dance that Goten and Trunks do, but what if they screw it up? No need to worry. Whis will be there, and he says just for Beerus' fun, he'll be sure to reverse the fusion if they mess it up. I mean, he probably has the ability to just tap them and make them defuse after all. But he's only doing this in the interest of Beerus. So, they try the fusion dance. Of course, they do screw it up a few times. Vegeta's never practiced this, but at some point, they eventually get it right, creating a brand new fusion that's never been seen before. This isn't Vegeta, this is Gogeta. Or at least that's the name he gives himself. Wow, the power of this fusion is awesome. He loves it. He tells Beerus he's still not gonna have any Super Saiyan God, but maybe this will please him. He goes into Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan Gogeta alone is even stronger than both the Super Saiyan 4s, which is incredible. And yeah, Beerus is impressed, but he says this isn't fun enough. Go into that Super Saiyan 4 form. Well, he kinda wanted to have some fun because he's never done fusion before like this. But Gogeta accepts it. He starts transforming, surrounded by that same brilliant aura that Goku and Vegeta have. But something's weird this time. He still gets the same fur, but the fur is a little bit different color, and his hair, it turns red. Red hair? Wow, maybe this is the Super Saiyan God. Beerus vaguely remembers in his premonition that there was some sort of redness to him. And I mean, look at this guy, red fur, red hair. Maybe he's the Super Saiyan God. But no, he senses no godly ki within him. Although his regular ki, it's incredibly high, it's skyrocketed. Now, Gogeta's kinda unsure of this. Obviously, he's never fused before, and he's never used Super Saiyan 4 in a fusion on top of that. He's not sure how long this will last, so he tells Beerus they're gonna need to make this as quick as possible. But Beerus is fine with this. He's ready for a good fight. And he powers up a little bit. Not his full power, of course, but he goes a little bit beyond where he was before, seeing if Gogeta could handle this. And surprisingly, Gogeta's actually very impressive. Holy crap, for a mortal using normal ki? This guy's strong. Beerus is actually having a lot of fun with this. This is the most fun he's had in a while. He's never fought anyone like this. Granted, Gogeta's still not at his level, but even at the suppressed level, he's surprised that this guy's even keeping up at all. The power from this fusion is sublime. He's so thrilled. This is amazing. He came here, got some great food, he found some Saiyans, and now he's having a great fight. Although, he does realize that there's some downsides to this. The fight stops, and he begins talking to Gogeta. Well, yeah, this was great and all. He's enjoying himself with this battle, but still, he knows they can get a Super Saiyan God somehow. They gotta figure that out. And I mean, it's not like they can be fused forever. He would love to have Gogeta as a rival, but these two are separate. And of course, not long after, the two of them do defuse. They used up a lot of energy as a Super Saiyan 4, so Gogeta wasn't gonna stay like that for a while. But he has an idea in mind. After seeing this impressive display in power, he's elated. He definitely needs to keep Earth around. He doesn't even threaten to blow it up because there's no pudding incident either. It's a very happy trip and peaceful. I guess that's not really the right word because they're fighting, but peaceful in the sense that no one's under the threat of being destroyed. And Beerus' mind begins running wild. Not just a Super Saiyan God, but imagine fighting Gogeta with a Super Saiyan God transformation. A fusion, transformed into that. It would be awesome. But first they need to figure out if this even exists. And he's not sure how, but he's sure they could think of something. He doesn't even question it any further, and he's not gonna rush them right now. He wants them to train with him, and he offers them this position. Become his students, or at least Whis' students. Come to his planet and train. And of course, the two of them aren't gonna turn this down. This is awesome. Yeah, they both accept it. So, not only do they have Super Saiyan 4, but it turns out they're going to start training with Beerus earlier, even though they don't have Super Saiyan God just yet. But still, even if they do get this new form, if it does exist, they're still going to keep working on Super Saiyan 4 and improve it from there. Who knows what they could do with it? Maybe they can go even beyond it. Maybe combine it with God Ki and do something like that. But who knows? That's way too far down the line for them to know for now. In the meantime, their training begins. Beerus, Goku, and Vegeta are all equally excited, trying to think of what's going to happen next with their training. After the last part, Goku and Vegeta are now training with Beerus. Super Saiyan 4 is impressive, and they even fight him with it more. They're trying to get more of a grasp on this, because they already kind of were on that path anyways, and it's not really that hard to use anymore. I guess they could even say it's kind of mastered. It's to the point where they're not losing too much stamina like they did with Super Saiyan. So basically this is Super Saiyan 4 at its peak. Basically how Super Saiyan Grade 4 works, not to be confused with Super Saiyan 4, I know, kind of confusing, whatever. However, Beerus still does want to see Super Saiyan God. He needs to see it. He had the premonition, so he knows it exists. Yeah, Super Saiyan 4 is great and all, but there's no way they can't go beyond that, right? Well, they do keep training, and eventually, they are absorbing God Ki as they train more and more, both with Beerus and Whis. This is kind of what happened with Vegeta in the main story. Just being around Whis and training with him eventually made him get God Ki somehow, so that's what we're going to roll with here like we do in other scenarios. And since Vegeta was able to do that in the main story, let's even say he's the first one to tap into Super Saiyan God here. One of the times where they're training, he tries to tap into that godly ki, trying to see what he could actually do with it. And sure enough, he's able to transform. This form doesn't look as radically different as Super Saiyan 4. And in terms of power, well, Goku can't even tell what the power is coming off of it. But for Beerus and Whis, oh yeah, they could definitely tell. This is Super Saiyan God. That raw godly energy coming off Vegeta is great. Beerus wants to fight him right away, and they can tell that this form is stronger than Super Saiyan 4. But it's still not strong enough to rival Beerus, although this does have some pretty interesting implications, which we'll be visiting later on, especially in the next arc once we go into Resurrection F. So this arc's going to begin pretty much like normal. Goku and Vegeta aren't on Earth, and everyone on Earth is around the same strength anyways. The big change comes when they actually arrive here. So far, the scenario is obviously focused around the two of them because they are the ones with Super Saiyan 4. And this is going to greatly affect their training and how they perform in this arc. A fight ensues between Goku and Frieza. Goku only uses his base form too. And Frieza decides he's going to stop playing around, going into his golden form. As for Goku, he transforms into Super Saiyan 4. Why is he using such a low form in comparison to Super Saiyan God? Well, there's a reason for it. Frieza laughs it off because he literally transformed into a monkey. I mean, that's the peak form of comedy for him. He always calls the Saiyans monkeys as a derogatory term, but he never thought they'd take it so literally. He actually turned into one. It's so hilarious. But he stops laughing as soon as he sees this power. Of course, it's not strong enough to overcome Golden. Golden is way stronger, but it's still able to put up a fight somewhat, which is what really surprises him. And it surprises Goku too. The reason for this is it's infused with godly ki now. Just like Goku did with his base form and his other Super Saiyan forms, Super Saiyan 4 does get a boost from this. Just by having godly ki, well, Super Saiyan 4 evolves as well. It's not like it's a completely different form or anything, it's just now it's way more powerful than before. Plus, unlike using Super Saiyan God, this is the most efficient option for them now. Remember, they both got Super Saiyan God way later on and have less knowledge of it, so they don't even have Blue yet. Super Saiyan God is their peak in power, and they're still working on trying to improve the strength of it and the efficiency. Vegeta says that it's time to stop playing around. Eventually, he jumps in the battle and begins fighting Frieza with Goku. But instead of going into Super Saiyan 4, he immediately goes into Super Saiyan God. Alright, Goku takes it as his cue to transform as well, and the two of them start fighting together both in this form. Frieza's terrified about a couple of things, mainly the fact that he's fighting two Super Saiyan gods, things that he heard of in Legends but he didn't think this would actually exist. But more so, he's incredibly scared at the fact that their clothes grew back. Super Saiyan 4 has magic clothes? The thought terrifies him no end. And with two Super Saiyan gods fighting together, they are able to defeat Frieza. So, Goku and Vegeta here are going to be weaker than normal when you think about it. I mean, they don't have Super Saiyan Blue, so it should be obvious. Or is it actually that obvious? No, it's not really that clear cut. When you think about it, look back to what I was mentioning in the first part. They were training way more intensely after the Buu saga, hence why they got Super Saiyan 4. Meaning, once they were training with Super Saiyan 4, they were getting even stronger with that too. It was basically like compound interest. Everything they got added on to their training, making them grow stronger and stronger, giving a bigger boost as they continue training. More time equated to better training. So, in base, they actually are stronger than Goku, Vegeta, and Canon. But at their peak power, which is Super Saiyan God, they are obviously going to be weaker because they don't have Super Saiyan Blue. Although, I will say this to make it simpler. If they were to be compared to Super Saiyan God, Goku, and Vegeta from this point in the story in the main series, they would be stronger in this exact form, yeah. Although, they still are training to go beyond Super Saiyan God. They know that something must be above it. I mean, Super Saiyan God's a completely different form from Super Saiyan. Look what they did with Super Saiyan 4 after all. That's Grade Ape with Super Saiyan. So, who's to say they can't combine God with Super Saiyan? And maybe even on top of that, God with Super Saiyan with Grade 8. 3 forms at once, which is insane to even think about, but that's way down the line. They're going to worry about that when they actually get Super Saiyan Blue. And they have the perfect opportunity for this because the Universe X tournament comes up. They still do the 3 years of training, and in this 3 years, they are actually able to tap into Super Saiyan Blue. Finally, after all this time, they ascended Super Saiyan God, and this form is incredibly potent. And it really hypes them up for the tournament because now they can finally show this off. Even Beerus and Whis will be surprised because they haven't seen it yet, so they're gonna save it for them. The tournament starts, and the team is pretty much the exact same. Obviously, Goku and Vegeta are a bit different in terms of strength, but otherwise, the team has the same people on it. And nothing really changes with the fights at first, at least Goku and Piccolo's fights, and Boo's fights, or the lack thereof. But then Vegeta steps into the ring, and everyone's noticed this already, but something's weird about him. He's in Super Saiyan 4, like, he's been in that this entire time. Remember what Goku did in the Cell Saga when he was just Super Saiyan the entire time? That's basically what he's doing here. Why? Well, just to see how efficient he can get. He wants this to be as efficient as his base form. Even if it is kinda unsightly for Bulma, he doesn't care. But it interests Cabba because what the hell is this? And Vegeta's amused. This guy doesn't even have regular Super Saiyan. Cabba asks if he can eventually get this form too. And Vegeta says he doesn't actually know. He tries to train Cabba to get Super Saiyan and eventually does do so. But Cabba's not going to be able to get this. He was never born with a tail. And this isn't like Goku and Vegeta where they had their tails cut off. Cabba actually just never had one in general. The Universe 6 Saiyans have evolved way past that. As far as we know, they don't have a grade 8 form either, so Super Saiyan 4 is going to be inaccessible to him. It's kind of a bummer, but he's interested to learn about all these Saiyans too. And he gets Super Saiyan, so it's still a win-win. Next up, Vegeta faces Hit, and Super Saiyan 4 is definitely not going to be enough. He goes into Super Saiyan God, and this still doesn't do too much. But he can tell the gap is closing. Right now he's pacing himself and trying to buy time because he knows Hit's strong, and he just wants to see what he's doing with his powers. If he can figure out Hit's powers, then he can strike. He begins explaining. So they've seen Super Saiyan 4, a combination of Super Saiyan and Great Ape. But what about a combination of Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God? Beerus' ears perk up. No, he can't actually be serious. There's no way he actually unlocked it, did he? And sure enough, he begins to show it off. Goku's a bit bummed. He kinda wanna be the one to show it off, but whatever. Well, Vegeta doesn't really show it off. He attacks Hit while in Super Saiyan God, and the second he strikes, a blue flash of energy appears. Super Saiyan Blue isn't efficient enough yet to just use as is. But what he can do is the God to Blue switch, and Beerus is able to see it for a split second, and he begins flipping out. This is awesome! They went beyond Super Saiyan God. And look at how Vegeta's utilizing it in this fight. It's amazing. He's so happy and he can't wait to fight Vegeta using this power. Hit's actually kind of stunned by this. He doesn't know how to counter it, and Vegeta's seeing right through his movements, and it's good. Hit's already given away that he has pure progress, so Vegeta's going to overcome that by stopping it in its tracks. The earlier he tries to end this fight, the better, but that's the thing. He just needs to end it. Easier said than done, obviously. The fight continues on as he bounces around the entire ring, and Vegeta's getting more and more used to this. I mean, he did have 3 years of training after all just beforehand. And after all this time, he's finally able to knock Hit out of the ring. It was tough, but he was able to accomplish it. And that's all that matters. Universe 7 takes victory, and Beerus is elated. Champa's pretty pissed off, until he gets Earth back. Beerus still ends up making the same wish. So, that should be the end of it, right? Because, realistically, right after this, I mean, you would think they would focus on Super Saiyan Blue, rather than Super Saiyan 4. And yeah, if I was doing this in a more realistic manner, Super Saiyan 4 would kind of be treated like the other forms. But the thing here is, I want to focus on Super Saiyan 4. That's the whole point of the scenario. I mean, we saw how Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan 3 were treated in Super. I've never said Super so many times in one sentence, but you know what I mean. And I'm not saying that I wanted to see more of these forms or that there was any other choice. This was the best option. You can't really focus on all these different forms when there's already better ones. Like, if you have Super Saiyan Blue, why focus on the others? And that's the great thing about this being What If. I'm not limited by those restrictions. I'm actually going to try and use Super Saiyan 4 as much as possible. So even though they just access Super Saiyan Blue, this isn't the end of Super Saiyan 4, not in the slightest. If anything, this is just the beginning. Like I mentioned before, my plan with it is that they're going to use it like they did with Super Saiyan, where it basically becomes their new base form, a powered up version of themselves that has the same efficiency as their base form. They want to get the strength that comes with it, but without the cost of stamina. With Super Saiyan God and Blue, they simply can't do that yet. Super Saiyan 4 is their path to doing so. I mean, it's a little bit weird because it drastically changes their appearance. It's not like the other forms where it just changes their hair. They turn into giant monkeys, so it's not really the most ideal thing. But this also has benefits with their God forms. Of course, they do need to utilize Super Saiyan God and Blue more efficiently, but eventually, they do want to combine the power of Great Ape with these forms. Right now, they combine Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God. They could add that third extra one on top of it. It sounds a bit insane to them at the moment, but they've already made crazy things happen before. What's next for their power? Besides trying to master Super Saiyan Blue, they're aiming way beyond that already. Super Saiyan Blue is going to be a stepping stone, as is Super Saiyan God. The fact that we have Super Saiyan 4 in this scenario means that they're going to get something completely different later on. And that's the thing too, they don't even know about Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego for that matter yet. Of course, Whis is trying to teach them to get Ultra Instinct, but they already have their mind set on something else, and he's actually kind of curious. Well, Ultra Instinct might be a long shot and he does still want to teach them it, but this new form that they have in mind, yeah, You might want to work towards that. I mean, it seems more realistic than them getting Ultra Instinct, but who knows? Of course, Zamasu did watch the Universe 6 tournament, so what's gonna happen here? Since Vegeta fought Hito, we're gonna get Vegeta Black? Well, no, I'm gonna go with Goku Black here still. He would still see that Goku has a similar power, and he might even encounter Goku in that alternate timeline. There's a ton of timeline mess here regardless, so this is the most simple outcome that I'm gonna have here. But even though he's gonna be Goku Black still, Goku is not the same Goku. Of course, he still is Goku, but there's been a very different course of events so far in the series, and that's gonna affect this next arc, especially with Trunks too. Goku Black begins attacking that timeline, and much of this arc starts out like normal, up until the point when Goku Black actually arrives in the past. Instead of going into Super Saiyan 2 to fight him, Goku transforms into Super Saiyan 4. Goku Black's intrigued. He saw this briefly when he was watching GodTube. This form, it's so unsightly. It's something very fitting for a mortal, but he wonders, maybe he could access this power too. I mean, he's already taken a mortal's body. Who knows what he could do with that power? Plus, it's definitely incredibly strong. He gets to witness it firsthand after all. I mean, he is the one fighting Goku. He experiences this power and sees this is the next step for him. If he wants to evolve in this mortal's body, he needs to fully embrace it, getting this unsightly form, even if it's the opposite of a godly form, even if it's not as majestic as a god's power either. He will get this for himself, but first he's going to need to escape here. He knows he's not going to win this fight, and before he does leave, he destroys Trunks' time machine. Trunks is just as amazed too once he sees this. And not only that, he hears that this isn't the only form they've gotten. Yeah, this is Super Saiyan 4. Wait, there's a Super Saiyan 3? That's news to him. But there's also God in Blue, and it gets Trunks thinking, wait, maybe he could try and access one of those forms. I mean, Super Saiyan 3 is not really that useful, but Super Saiyan 4, maybe they could try that. But Vegeta's not sure if this is going to work, just like he was saying to Cabba. It's not like Trunks was born with a tail. How could they be sure if it would work? Well, maybe there's other reasons he was born without a tail. He probably still would react to blood waves just like them, and there's only one way to find out. They actually have to try and test it. Even if he doesn't have a tail, they could probably force the transformation out of him. Wait, turning into a great ape? He doesn't want to do that, that's terrifying. And what benefit is it going to have for him? Well, if he wants to get this form, he'll need to use Great Ape first. And they have the perfect place to go, the Room of Spirit and Time. Well, it's going to be torture, especially for Vegeta who just got out of there. But Trunks remembers this from before, and Vegeta doesn't mind training even more in there. Trunks is fine with it, especially because they're not even going to go in for that long. Just a few months to buff Trunks up. I mean, they don't have that much time anyways. They want to go back to the future as soon as possible. They might have a few days on the outside, but they'd rather only spend a few hours in there, which does equate to a couple months, so that's more than enough for them. Training begins in there. Vegeta's able to take in the Blitzwave machine, and much to his surprise, he's actually able to force the transformation out of Trunks. Interesting. Well, it still might have not worked with those Universe 6 Saiyans because they were evolved to not have the tails, and Trunks and Goten are kind of the same case, but they still definitely do have that within them. I mean, it's not like that universe. Here, they're only one generation removed, and I mean, even look at Gohan. He had that ability. The only difference was he was actually born with a tail. Trunks does turn into a great ape, and of course he has no control over it, but given how strong he is, it wouldn't be too hard for him to get control over this form. Great! Now go Super Saiyan on top of that. Wait, Super Saiyan and Great Ape? He just got this form, what the hell is he supposed to do with it? Vegeta tries to explain the power to him, and as Trunks learns more and more about it, he sees what they're actually trying to do. Oh, it's combining the power of the two. And Vegeta has high hopes. Trunks might not be able to access God forms. I mean, he could, but it would take a while. But this actually won't take that long for him to access. Since he got control over Great Ape that quickly, and he already has a perfect control over Super Saiyan, all he needs to do now is figure out a way to combine those and then get control over that combination. And with him being a hybrid Saiyan, who knows? Maybe he could utilize this form even better than they can. His power might skyrocket to heights unknown. Vegeta's just as hyped up as Trunks. He wants to see how strong his future son can get. As their training continues, Goku Black arrives back in the future. That form. He needs it for himself. Just as Trunks is training for Super Saiyan 4, he wants to get that too. But it's not something he's going to be able to access right away. He doesn't even have regular Super Saiyan yet. Well, it's time to get to work. He could utilize his anger and the power-ups that he got from healing. Goku's body already does remember Super Saiyan. He just has to figure out a way to access that, which he already did pretty easily beforehand in the original story. But his version of Super Saiyan is different. He gets Super Saiyan Rose. How interesting. Now imagine, combining this with the power of Super Saiyan 4, but how is a Super Saiyan 4 even made? Looks like he needs to do some research, or at least try and test things out himself.
What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. During the last part, we got to see more of Super in this scenario, also going into the Goku Black arc, or at least briefly touching upon it. Today, we're going to be going more into this part of the story, seeing what happens with Trunks, Goku Black, and everyone else thanks to the effects of the story so far. Things are about to get really messy. Before this video, let's set a like goal of 3,500 likes. If we hit that, I'll continue with another part of the series. Anyways, let's pick it from here. In the future, Goku Black continues working with Super Saiyan Rose, trying to draw out more powers from it or just to see if he can go beyond it somehow. He wonders, will he see Trunks again? And the others for that matter too. This power sublime. He could definitely beat them with this strength alone. But of course, he's not the only one trying to perfect his power. Back in the present timeline, Trunks is also training as well. Vegeta has taken him into the Room of Spirit and Time. And after a long time spent training, Trunks eventually does get control in Grade 8. Good, and now it's time for the next step. Getting control of Grade 8 wasn't too crazy. At first it kind of seemed bad, but it didn't take too long. Vegeta has extensive knowledge of it, and Trunks would probably be able to control himself pretty well. But the next part, this is going to be fun. Vegeta tells Trunks, while he's at Grade 8, he needs to go Super Saiyan as well. Okay, that doesn't seem that bad, but he tells Trunks to be warned. This is way worse than learning Grade 8. And now Trunks is a bit concerned, but he follows Vegeta's orders, transforming into a Super Saiyan, becoming a Golden Grade 8. Vegeta looks on. Good. He's confident. Trunks could definitely do this. Although, it's still going to take a little bit more training because now Trunks needs to work on controlling this form, and then he'll finally become a Super Saiyan 4. But this shouldn't be too tough, and it shouldn't take too long. Vegeta transforms into blue. Trunks begins attacking him, but he can't do anything. Vegeta is just too powerful at this rate. So even though Trunks is berserk, it's not that big of an issue. Vegeta tries to quell his rage, and it's not even a challenge, but he doesn't defeat Trunks here. He lets Trunks retain this form. Trunks keeps looking on, trying to attack Vegeta while he doesn't have his control. Vegeta looks at Trunks, unsure if he can comprehend what he's about to say, but he tells Trunks that he's not going to help him de-transform. He has to do it on his own. No matter how much he rampages, Vegeta's not going to stop him. He's going to let him do this until he gets it out of his system. Of course, this isn't something they could have done on the outside, but here in the Room of Spirit and Time, with Vegeta as the only person in there, there's no risk of anyone else getting injured, and Vegeta's not even getting affected by Trunks' attacks, no matter how much he rampages. He tells Trunks he doesn't care how long this takes. Trunks will need to do it himself, and Vegeta's not going to help him. Trunks continues rampaging, getting a little bit tired out even. But eventually, as Vegeta lets him rampage and get it out of his system, he starts regaining control, starting to see where he is, and who he's facing. And Vegeta could tell, he's finally getting his mind back. Is this it? Is he finally going to unlock this form? And sure enough, this training method actually works. Trunks is forced to transform. His rampage isn't doing anything against Vegeta, so his mind overcame it. And now with control over Golden Grade 8, he begins shrinking. Vegeta looks on in awe, wondering what kind of power he'll have. And standing there in place of that Golden Grade 8 is now Trunks, in Super Saiyan 4. And his power. Vegeta's amazed. He knew it would be great, but this is even greater than he expected. This is the power of a hybrid Super Saiyan 4? Well, of course, this is his son after all. He wouldn't have expected anything less. And Trunks is amazed at the power too. He could barely contain it. Like I did mention, he was getting a bit tired out too, so he could barely maintain this form for a little bit longer. He tries to attack Vegeta, but as soon as he does, he de-transforms. But now he knows what it feels like. He knows what it's like to be a Super Saiyan 4, and this shows that he can't access the form like they theorized. He's hyped up, as is Vegeta. Now they can go on to some real training. This is where the fun begins. Their training has only just started. More time passes. Eventually, Vegeta and Trunks exit the Room of Spirit and Time. They still have some time to wait until the time machine is finished, but they're just gonna rest on the outside. Trunks shows off this form to Goku too, now able to transform into it willingly. And Goku's amazed too. He knew Super Saiyan 4 was strong, obviously. But wow, Trunks using it? This is awesome. He tries to test out Trunks' power by just transforming into Super Saiyan 4, but it's not enough to face him. In Super Saiyan 4, Trunks is actually stronger than both of them. With him being a hybrid Saiyan and all, his greater potential helps him a lot here. Not to mention all that time spent training in the time chamber. It wasn't just accessing this form, he did get stronger while he was going at it. And it gets Goku wondering, what if Trunks had Super Saiyan God forms? Well, that would take way too long to unlock and they're not sure if it could happen. This is more than enough for now, and this should be enough to defeat Goku Black. If Trunks transforms into a Super Saiyan 4, he'll definitely win here. Unless it turns out that Goku Black has some brand new form of his own or something, but that's not possible, right? Well, they end up going back to the future. The time machine's finally fixed, and they're ready to fight. And just like they suspected, Goku Black is waiting there for them, alongside Zamasu, who they now know is part of this plan. All that stuff with him still happened in the past. And Goku Black's elated to see them. Now he can finally test out this power. What power is he talking about? He transforms, but his hair, it's not a normal color, it turns pink. That's strange, they've never seen it like that before. And Goku Black explains, this is his version of Super Saiyan. But Trunks tells Goku Black, he isn't the only one who's evolved so far. And he wonders what Trunks means, as he transforms, then going into Super Saiyan 4. Alongside him, Vegeta and Goku follow this cue, transforming into the same form as well. Goku Black can't believe it. Not only does Trunks have this new form, but they're actually already using it against him. He knew of it, of course. But this might actually be tough. They try attacking Zamasu right away, and they figure out that he's immortal, but they decide they'll deal with him later. He's not too strong anyways, so it's not like he's gonna meddle in the fight too much. With 3 Super Saiyan 4s together, they begin attacking Goku Black, and even with Rose, he can't keep up with them. He's outnumbered and slightly overpowered. His rage begins swelling, which contributes to his power growing as well. But he wonders, can he access this form too? I mean, he transformed already, and he is in Goku's body. Goku has access to this form, so this body might have some sort of memory of it. Maybe he can access that memory, using it to transform. It's such an unsightly form, but imagine the power that would bring if he transformed into it. And it would be very fitting for him to kill those mortals with this form. He lets them fight him, and as they continue fighting, he gets more and more damaged. Zamasu tries to draw in to heal him, but they make sure to stop Zamasu in his tracks. Goku Black is slowly getting weakened, losing stamina, and facing injuries. But at the same time, his rage is growing still, and he's getting more and more used to this body. This is what he needed, an actual fight to push him to this level. It's gonna force him to change, but still, he's not sure how to do it. There's an ingredient that he's missing. He has the rage, he has the power, he has the desire to transform. But there's something that he's missing. There's gotta be. And amidst their fight, he just so happens to look up at the sky, seeing the full moon there. That's it. He feels something connect with him. As he looks at the moon, he realizes, yes, this is where it comes from after all. Those Saiyans, they could transform into apes by using the moon. And since they transform into apes, maybe that's what led them to this form. He doesn't know too much about Saiyans, but from what little he does know, this is how they did it. And of course, he doesn't have a tail, but again, he's in Goku's body. This body is used to this form by now. And the Blutz waves from the moon act as a trigger for him to transform. The 3 of them then look back, noticing the moon as well. Crap, is he actually gonna transform from this? I mean, he doesn't have a tail and he doesn't have a Blutz wave machine, but maybe there's still a way. He figured out Super Saiyan, so what's next? Zamasu looks on too, glad to see that he's finally doing this. The rage and determination mix together. His immense power grows even more as the Blutz waves affect him. And he feels it. The cells in his body, they do remember this form, just like he thought. Fur begins growing on him. His hair grows longer too, and his power skyrockets even further. He even notices a tail grow. He shouts as he powers up, creating a shockwave that knocks all the other fighters back, even Zamasu. Slowly he descends down into the ground. How disgusting. This form. To think he ruined his beauty by transforming into this, but still, the power of it, it's exactly what he needs. Even if he has to suffer by using this ugly mortal form, it still doesn't matter. The power is what he needs most. He lunges in at the other fighters, starting to attack even more. And now, that gap in power is completely gone. And they even notice, something's weird about this form for him. I mean, his Super Saiyan form was different too, so of course this form would have some differences as well. And as you'd probably expect, the power is incredible. But there's something here that might work towards their advantage. At this point in the story, they're still working at trying to combine godly powers with Super Saiyan 4. So even though Goku Black transformed, Goku's body doesn't remember anything like that. His Super Saiyan 4 does look a little different from theirs, but they could tell. It's not a godly form. It's a strange evolution in power. And there is a dramatic increase in strength that even forces Goku and Vegeta to turn into blue. But the increase in strength isn't too high. Even with everyone fighting at their max power right now, they can't contend against him. But the gap is only very slight, and it gets Goku and Vegeta thinking. Maybe there is a way around this. As Goku Black continues fighting, his power grows more and more, getting more used to this body and more used to this form. Trunks can't believe what he's seeing, how quickly he unlocked this form. Goku Black slowly gets the upper hand, even enough to let Zamasu get in. And Zamasu is finally able to heal Goku Black, not only restoring all his injuries, but giving him an even greater boost in power on top of the one that he just got. Things are looking bad, but Goku and Vegeta's plan might actually work. Vegeta doesn't really want to go along with it, and Trunks is wondering what they're planning, but Goku says not to worry. Well, actually, Trunks might need to worry. He needs to hold them off for a bit. Normally, they wouldn't rely on this technique during the battle. But considering the stakes here and how bad everything looks, it might be worthwhile to just finish the fight while they're here. Goku grabs onto Vegeta, and the two teleport nearby. They tell Trunks that they just need a few seconds. Trunks says he'll do everything in his power to help. He charges up his energy, trying to unleash as much as possible. Of course, his attacks aren't doing anything against Goku Black, but he starts fighting on the defensive. First, a massive solar flare, and then he jumps up into the sky, launching a massive beam of energy downwards. As Goku Black and Zamasu's vision comes back, they're immediately hit by this attack. Of course, it doesn't do too much damage, but they look up in the sky and see Trunks running away. They chase after him. What a coward. But Trunks is leading them right to Goku and Vegeta, and just as he's going over there, he sees a brilliant flash of light nearby. A pillar of energy appears. Just as Goku Black's about to catch up to Trunks, something from above begins rocketing downwards, sending Goku Black flying into the ground. There's a brief blur of light. Zamasu is confused, and then the same happens to him. Goku Black gets up out of the rubble, looking over at Zamasu. Does he know what just happened? No. And then, someone descends down slowly from the sky. It's been a while since he did this, but he's glad to be back. Trunks is even confused as to what happened, but it feels like Goku and Vegeta's powers together. And standing there is a new person. It's Gogeta. He's in Super Saiyan 4 right now. He actually could go Super Saiyan God or Blue at this moment, but he doesn't want to drain his energy too quickly, and he does want to enjoy the fight a bit, gauging a little bit more of Goku Black's power before he fully transforms. Wait, those two mortals fused? But they've never seen this fusion before. They don't have Potara earrings either. Oh yeah, there is Potara fusion. But Gogeta says this is something different, and that actually reminds him. These two have Potara earrings. Before they can even react, their Potaras are turned to dust, with Gogeta launching 2 small blasts at them. What the hell? Sorry, but he can't take any risk. He knows that they might try and fuse later on, given the fact that they do have the Potara. He doesn't know what kind of fusion that would create, but he doesn't want to try and see it. Goku Black gets angry, jumping up towards Gogeta, trying to fight him, but nothing he does works. Gogeta is just so far beyond him in terms of power. And it's funny too, he knows that Goku Black's power is decreasing. He might have just gotten this form, but he seems to not have a control on it. It's the same issue both Goku and Vegeta had when they first got it, as did Trunks. And Trunks recognized this too. He went through this recently. And he notices the stamina of Goku Black is dropping. Amidst this battle, someone else teleports in too. It's Shin from the past. He's wondering what's been taking everyone so long. But then he sees Zamasu there. Trunks says to watch out, as Zamasu goes to attack him, but Trunks jumps in the way, stopping Zamasu pretty easily. He says that this guy is immortal, they can't defeat him. And Shin tells Trunks not to worry. He'll figure out something, as he teleports back to the past, telling Trunks that he'll be back soon. The fight between Gogeta and Goku Black continues. As Goku Black's power continues dropping, he eventually de-transforms, going back into just Rose. Gogeta noticed that power briefly appear, and knows that he needs to protect Shin in case he comes back. But like he mentioned before, he doesn't want to take any risk and he kinda wants to end this quickly. He had his fun fighting, and now he realizes that Goku Black's not even gonna be fun to battle anymore. This is the first time they're trying this out, and they don't expect him to last too long, but it's time to transform once more. The fur on Gogeta disappears. His aura goes from yellow to blue. His tail shrinks, his hair goes back to a normal size. He's encased by a brilliant blue aura, completely surrounding him and then cracking like glass. The power's enough to knock Goku Black back. This is Gogeta Blue, and he's thrilled with this great power that comes with it. Quickly, he charges up a powerful Kamehameha, one that might even be too strong. He's got to aim it kind of away from Earth, so he repositions himself as he continues charging it, teleporting around Goku Black, trying to trip him up too. Goku Black is hopeless to react against it. As he tries to attack Gogeta, he's too quick. He continues teleporting around, then launching the attack upwards. Goku Black is completely eviscerated. And they made good timing too. Just like they thought, Gogeta defuses soon after. Well, even though it didn't take too long, they did have fun using that power. And now, what to do about Zamasu? But just as they look over to him, they see someone else there, actually 2 other people. Shin's back, and for some reason, Piccolo's there. They see a flash of green light, as Piccolo performs a Mafuba, sealing away Zamasu. Oh, that's smart. That's why they brought Piccolo here. Shin would have tried to seal Zamasu himself, but he wasn't sure if he was strong enough. And he did try and get Beerus' help, but Beerus didn't want to come here and meddle with that nonsense. He actually went right to Universe 10 ready to destroy that Zamasu. But thankfully Piccolo was nearby when they were given the rundown, and he did mention the fact that he can seal away people. He was pretty hyped up to get involved thinking that he'd be able to fight, but all he did was seal someone away, which is still something, and they're all thrilled. Piccolo helped save the day, but he missed all the fun stuff. And now, Trunks' timeline is at peace again. Goku Black's defeated, Zamasu is gone, and Trunks is far stronger than he was before. Goku and Vegeta also got a good fight out of it. Everyone says their goodbyes, and Trunks thanks them all, especially thanking the Supreme Kai. If only he were still alive in this timeline. Now after the Goku Black arc, both Goku and Vegeta have different ideas of what they want to do for power. They still do have that one Super Saiyan 4 idea in mind. You know, the idea that they had to combine Super Saiyan God with Super Saiyan 4. But they're still not too sure. At least Goku isn't. I mean, it's 3 forms at once. Sure, it might actually work. They did Super Saiyan and Great Ape after all. But Goku feels like his time is better spent somewhere else. I mean, yeah, that form would be great. It would be incredibly powerful. But it might be kind of hard to maintain too. Plus, he was convinced by something else. Whis mentioned something to him. Something that he's been trying to teach Goku all along. The idea that his body can react on its own, moving automatically without any inputs from him. It's a level of power that not even Beerus could get. It's only a power that the angels have at the moment, and Goku thinks that he could probably attain it. Sure, it's a long shot, but maybe it could work. I mean, he's done crazy things in the past. Whis is interested in his drive, and maybe it could work. Goku is immortal, so it might be kind of tough. But he feels like his student can definitely do this, and Goku goes down this path,
But as for Vegeta, he's going to be doing something completely different. He does pursue this new level of Super Saiyan 4. He's had it in mind for a while, and as the person to actually use Super Saiyan 4 first, he thinks that this is going to work. It's definitely going to work. And even if there are problems in terms of maintaining it, he can circumvent them. I mean, he's done it before with other forms. How hard could it be with this one? Plus, just imagine the raw strength that would come with it. I mean, they saw what happened when they got Super Saiyan 4, as well as Super Saiyan Blue. It's going to be both of those together, essentially. And Vegeta's encouraged, hyped up beyond belief. This is what he's going to pursue, while Goku works towards Ultra Instinct. A year passes. At some point, Zeno's going to get bored, remembering that tournament that he suggested after seeing the Universe 6 tournament. This could work. So, the Tournament of Power is set in motion, and now Universe 7 has to formulate a team. The thing is here, their team can be pretty much exactly the same as it was in canon, except I'm going to make one change here. There's not going to be Frieza. Why is that? Well, there's not really a reason, but I feel like here, maybe they would see that Frieza's not really that valuable of an asset, because Boo actually stays awake. Again, there's no reason for this, I just want Boo here. My boy deserves to be in the Tournament of Power, so we're going to let him stay awake here. And because of that, the rest of the team is pretty much exactly the same, and now they have 10 people. But even though the team is the original roster that they wanted before, it's still different because Goku and Vegeta are so much stronger than their canon counterparts. And their training has definitely paid off, although no one has seen the fruits of their training just yet. This will be a great way to test it. The Tournament of Power is a perfect ground to actually use their new powers. And Gohan looks on, impressed at their strength. Of course, Gohan's pretty much around the same strength as normal, still using Ultimate and all, which he's content with. But it does make him wonder, what would happen if he got Super Saiyan 4? He doesn't really want to pursue it, but it's worth wondering. And Piccolo notes too, Goku and Vegeta are so much stronger than normal. It's crazy. What kind of powers are they hiding? Well, everyone's going to be seeing soon enough, because the tournament itself begins. And right when it starts, it's pretty clear that Universe 7 is ahead of everyone. Due to their strength, this also makes Universe 7 a big target for everyone. And while Goku and Vegeta would like a more exciting fight at first of all, they need to pace themselves, and second of all, they need to fend off against all these threats. But it's not really that hard. Their team is strong, and now they actually have some great supports too. With Boo there on the team, things are working way better than before. Boo can heal people. It's pretty overpowered when you think about it. Plus, he can help keep people in the ring. Something that Piccolo would also be doing too because he's inspired by Boo. Something that he also should have done originally because, you know, Piccolo's always had this ability. Why can't he just stretch his arms out and grab people back in the ring and also keep himself in there? I don't get it, but he's gonna do that here. So besides the team just being strong in general, they also have a great amount of support, which helps them stay in the ring and helps them fight longer because people like Boo are there, as well as the androids who aren't gonna tire out. They have people that don't get tired. They have people that can regenerate, people that can heal others, people that can keep people in the ring, people with great strategy and mindsets, and of course, they have all the strength to back that up as well. It's going to be a good tournament, and it's going to be interesting to see how this all turns out. But at some point, yeah, all those fodder fights end, and Vegeta decides that he wants a more exciting fight, and he looks over. He sees the exact person he wants to face, Jiren, the strongest of Universe 11, and probably the strongest person here, although Vegeta wants to contest that. This guy will be the perfect test of his strength, and yeah, Vegeta's actually the one to fight Jiren here first. Goku was thinking of the same thing too, but since Vegeta went towards it first, he decides to just let it slide. He also does want to see how Vegeta performs here. Of course, he has seen Vegeta's strength, he's been training with him and all, but maybe against Jiren, this could be an interesting battle to watch. He could observe it, learn more about Jiren too, and also prepare for his own battle with Jiren because eventually he does want to fight him. In his training, Vegeta's been seeking raw power, while in Goku's training, he's been focusing on raw technique, both of which are very valuable, and the two of them are going to work together now. But which is going to come up on top? Vegeta's raw strength or Goku's raw technique and abilities? Of course, each fighter has access to both, great technique and great power. It's just that each of them went down a different path, focusing on one different aspect. Vegeta starts powering up. Nothing he does against Jiren works, even up to Super Saiyan Blue. He's surprised, and Jiren's not impressed at all. He tells Vegeta he's going to have to fight harder. This isn't his full strength either. Jiren is still suppressed, and even then, Vegeta can't do anything against him. But Vegeta chuckles. This isn't his full strength either. If Jiren wants to see his full power, then so be it. Maybe this will be enough to defeat him, and then he'll stop acting so confident. Jiren doubts that it's going to be able to do anything, but he watches on. Vegeta begins powering up. His aura, it mutates into something completely different, and everyone watches on amazed. All the fighters who can sense it look over in shock. Beerus, Whis, and Goku are the only ones unfazed by this as they've seen it before. But Beerus is pretty intrigued. He's already bringing this out, that Jiren guy must actually be as strong as they say. Vegeta's hair begins turning red. Is he reverting to Super Saiyan God? No, he starts growing fur too. Is he going to Super Saiyan 4? Why is he reverting? But he's doing neither. He's going forward. His hair grows. His tail grows back too. Fur appears. His hair turns red. And Vegeta's transformation completes. With a brilliant burst of aura, he reveals this new power to everyone. This is Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker. Or at least, this what-if's version of it. A form in which he's combined the power of Super Saiyan God, and Great Ape. All three of these forms working together in harmony. It's tough to maintain, but the result? Well, it speaks for itself. He begins attacking Jiren. Lunging towards him, and just as he's about to punch Jiren, he disappears. Jiren's actually surprised. His speed. It must be a fluke. Vegeta appears behind him, hitting Jiren square in the back. Jiren turns around, quickly throwing a blast. But Vegeta jumps above it, and then kicks Jiren in the face. What the hell? His strength increased that much too? Jiren actually feels these hits. And the fight continues, getting more and more intense. Everyone watches on, stopping their fights. They can't help but be distracted. Even Goku's amazed too. Of course he has contended with this power, but still, it's fun to watch it in action against someone else. And as Jiren's battle goes on, someone then attacks Goku. It's Toppo, the second strongest of Universe 11. He challenges Goku, and Goku says if he wants to fight, then so be it. He can tell that Toppo's strong, but he does want to save his strength for Jiren. Toppo says not to underestimate him. But Goku kinda wants to make this quick, and even though this might use up a bit of stamina, Boo's there. He's gonna get healed right after this. So, he decides it's a good time to show this off too, since Vegeta's showing off his full power. It's something he's been working on for a while, and he doesn't really have a good grasp on it yet. If anything, Vegeta's grasp on Limit Breaker is actually better than this, but Goku powers up. His strength increases dramatically as well, causing everyone to turn around. There's another mortal with strength like that? But no, his is different. The gods of destruction look on in disbelief. That power of his. No, it can't be. There's no way. Beerus is smoke, and he can barely maintain it. Everyone looks towards him. He really has a mortal like that? A mortal that could use Ultra Instinct? Goku's power-up completes, and quickly, he dismantles Toppo. Toppo tries to attack, but nothing he does works. And with a single strike, Goku's able to knock him out of the ring. The second strongest in Universe 11, and one of the strongest fighters overall here, knocked out by a single attack. Goku then powers down. He can't use that forever, and he does want to save his strength for Jiren after all. But that was a nice way to showcase it, and get everyone to realize that this is the real deal. Gohan and Piccolo look on in disbelief too. That's Goku's power right now? Boo goes up to him, healing Goku and restoring some of his stamina. He didn't use too much, but it still was a significant amount. Goku thanks Boo, and they watch on with Vegeta's fight. He might need the same too, because now, Jiren's starting to ramp it up. Jiren's using more of his strength, and as Vegeta continues fighting, he loses more stamina. But thankfully, Boo's able to jump in, healing him too. Jiren attacks Boo, knocking him far away. But Boo's able to easily keep himself in the ring, and Jiren's not even focused on that right now. He's focused on Vegeta, who also just got stronger by being healed. He thanks Boo. He didn't really need that since he's felt like that he got this under control, but hey, he's not gonna turn this down. Okay, well, if Jiren needs to get more serious, he will. He tells Vegeta that he's still not at his full power, but if he really wants to see Jiren's strength unleashed, then so be it. Jiren begins powering up even more. His aura is incredibly intense. Even Vegeta's taken aback. This is the strength that he was hiding? He's not sure if Limit Breaker is going to be enough, but he looks over and sees Kakarot standing next to him. Goku tells Vegeta he knows that he wants to do this alone, but he can't, and Vegeta admits, damn it, yeah, Kakarot's right. They might need to team up here, which will be fine. He chuckles a bit. They're going to have to go all out here. He looks over, telling Kakarot not to hold back, and Goku acknowledges it, telling Vegeta he never planned on it. This will be a perfect test of his strength after all, both of them fighting together, Ultra Instinct Omen and Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker. Goku powers up once more, going back into that godly form. And Jiren notes the strength. These two, they definitely seem like formidable warriors. And he compliments this power. He can only imagine what they had to go through to attain this power. But even so, it's not enough. It's not anything compared to what he went through, the power that he has. It's not gonna work. The two assume a fighting stance. We'll see about that. They launch it, and the real fight begins. Everyone else watches on in the ring. Most of Universe 7 has cleaned house by now. I mean, there wasn't any strong fighters left. And also, Universe 7 had other strong fighters to rely on too. Like against Dispo, Gohan and Boo teamed up against him, with Gohan taking a piece off of Boo, using it to tie Dispo's legs together and throw him out of the ring, counteracting his speed. And as for Piccolo, he helped handle a lot of Universe 6 alongside Gohan and Boo, with help from the others as well. 17 and 18 are pretty strong, and the humans were able to utilize good strategies. And now, they just focus on this battle. The ultimate battle between Jiren, Goku, and Vegeta. And the two actually wonder mid-battle. Fusion right now would be pretty cool, and it would be incredibly strong if they turn into Gogeta, but that's probably for another time. They can't do that right now. They gotta focus on this fight ahead, and they wanna fight with these individual forms. They don't wanna try and combine something together again. They're losing steam during the fight, also getting damage from Jiren, but one last time, Boo jumps up to heal them, putting himself in harm's way as Jiren then launches a massive attack, basically eviscerating most of Boo, but of course he regenerates from this. That guy's a nuisance, and he tries to knock Boo out of the ring, but before he can, Goku and Vegeta step in front of him to protect him. They're stronger once more. Jiren can't believe it. What is this power? This teamwork that they're using, it's so effective. Not just the two of them together, but the two of them working alongside their entire team. He looks around. So much of Universe 7's team is left. And they're able to get this far into the tournament. He's basically the only obstacle left. And Goku and Vegeta are ready to finish this. They power up again, thanking Buu once more. Thanks to their constant exposure to this form, as well as how long they've been using it in the tournament, they're getting better grasp on each form. Vegeta's getting a better control on Limit Breaker, and as for Goku, he's focusing more on his attacks. Ultra Instinct was great defensively, but now his attacks are becoming more potent too. They still have a long way to go, and they could tell, but they thank Jiren. Jiren helped them push themselves, breaking their limits even further, seeing the flaws in these powers, and seeing where they need to improve. And they tell Jiren, maybe some other day, they'll be able to fight, and a more fair battle too, a 1v1 between each of them. And hopefully by that time, they can show off these forms at their fullest. But for now, they're gonna need to defeat Jiren, but they promise. They will see him again. The two go back to back. Goku charges up his strongest Kamehameha ever, while Vegeta, he charges his most powerful Gallic Gun. Jiren lunges towards them with his own attack, but it's already too late. The Saiyans attack in unison. The Gallic Kamehameha swirls together, hitting Jiren head on, knocking him clean out of the ring, pummeling him through it and into the void. Jiren is knocked out, meaning Universe 11 is defeated, as well as everyone else, and Universe 7 claims victory. It was a tough-fought battle, but it was a great experience, and a great way for them to test out their powers. And as I said to Jiren, it did let them see the flaws in their form so far, and where they need to improve. Of course, they do wish for the other universes to be brought back. In terms of an MVP, let's say it's Vegeta. And they wonder, how strong can they get with these forms? Goku and Vegeta continue their training, trying to get better grasp on their respective forms. Goku works more for Ultra Instinct. Right now, he only has Omen. And even though both of them have the same issue with stamina, they're both working towards something different. Goku needs to complete Omen, while as for Vegeta, Limit Breaker is good as is right now. He just needs to make it more efficient. Goku's aiming for something completely different, while Vegeta's basically just trying to improve what he already has. And both of these tasks are going to be pretty tough. Although, thankfully, they're going to have just the opponent to test this out against going forward. Maybe they're going to be forced to evolve, forced to break their limits somehow. Or break their limits once again because they already have so many times in this scenario. But they're confident. They've learned to master forms before. I mean, look at this entire scenario as is so far. Vegeta and Goku were able to do that with Super Saiyan 4, just like they did with Super Saiyan beforehand. And if they're able to do it with that, well, Vegeta thinks he could do it with Super Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker. It is just Great Ape, Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan God all together, which, when I say it like that, it sounds like a lot more than it is, but really, Vegeta's already got a great control on Great Ape, and a great control on Super Saiyan. And of course, a great control on Super Saiyan 4. But it's the godly aspect of it that he needs to get more control over, Super Saiyan God. He already has great practice with that, but using 3 forms together, yeah, that does cause some issues for him. As for Goku, Whis says that he still needs to go to the completed Ultra Instinct state, and even then, he'll only be at one of the lower levels. But the fact that he's this far along is huge, especially for a mortal. The fact that he can use it at will, even if it's not efficient, that's amazing. So now, Goku just needs to work more towards that, doing what he's already doing, and figuring out a way to access that completed form, the white-haired one. As the two continue working towards this, we begin to head into the Moro arc. At first, not too many things are going to go different when you think about it. Once they arrive on Namek, the fight between Vegeta and Moro does go a little bit differently, because Vegeta has Limit Breaker. He decides to break that out, but he waits too long for it. By the time he used this form, Moro's already been absorbing a lot of energy, so that means Vegeta's already lost a lot, and Moro's gaining a lot. Had he transformed sooner, he would have actually been able to defeat Moro really easily. It wouldn't have been an issue at all. But since he's been pacing himself, this is not the guy that you want to pace yourself against, because Moro's already stolen so much energy. And now even in Limit Breaker, he's not able to do anything against Moro, especially because he eventually does detransform, going back into his base form, with Goku suffering the same thing. Moro takes energy from both of them, getting a lot stronger thanks to this. And the next few events on Namek go normally. Moro defeats them, then getting the Dragon Balls and making his wishes. But once Goku and Vegeta wake up and are back in the fight, things go a little bit differently here. Against the prisoners, they realize they're going to need to conserve their stamina. They don't have that much to begin with because they were just very heavily injured. And on top of that, they need to make sure Moro doesn't take any more energy from them. So they have the perfect idea. Find something in the middle, something that gives them a lot of power, but also is very efficient, something that won't give off too much energy. And it's time to break out their old friend Super Saiyan 4 again. It's got a great amount of power. Of course, it's not their strongest form, but I mean, come on, it's Super Saiyan 4. And in terms of efficiency, they don't need to use too much energy while using it. They become completely efficient with it. And even if Moro does try to steal energy from them, well, it's not going to be that much because this isn't their highest form. But it's still going to be more than enough to take on the prisoners, and that's exactly what happens. Utilizing Super Saiyan 4 once again, they're able to defeat the prisoners pretty easily. Or at least most of them. it doesn't go completely flawlessly.
However, this power is definitely the best they could ask for at the moment. They're able to make some progress, but at some point, they also realize that it's best to escape. They can't keep fighting like this, and if they continue doing so, they're either going to die, Moro's going to get more energy, or both at once, each of which are obviously really bad outcomes. So they retreat, going back to the Galactic Patrol. And now what are they supposed to do? They need to work on a completely new game plan. As for Goku, he decides that he does want to train more, and Mayris has the perfect idea. He has knowledge of Ultra Instinct, which is surprising to Goku. He knows about this? Yeah, apparently so. And it seems like Mayris is hiding something and Goku's still suspicious, but he guesses he's going to find that out later. And as for Vegeta, what's he going to do? He decides he's not actually going to go to Yardrat. Why isn't he going to Yardrat here? Well, it's a pretty simple reason. He doesn't actually need the techniques that he would get from Yardrat. He decides what he has now is actually more than enough. He doesn't need to train for anything else, even if those do exist there. It doesn't even cross his mind. Instead, he's going to keep working on Limit Breaker. If he gets it to a point where it's completely efficient, he'll defeat Moro before he's even a problem again. And instead, Vegeta's just going to head back to Earth. He could just train there, and if anything, he could prepare everyone else as well. They probably do need to be filled in on what's been happening out here in space, and on top of that, Moro might even show up on Earth at some point soon, and it's better to have them trained if anything, make sure they're prepared. Also, he could train here, but he doesn't want to get involved with Goku's training. He doesn't want to actually inhibit it by being there, because Goku's training for something really specific, and Vegeta's going down a completely different path. It's better that they train separately here. Goku and Mayris both think this is a good idea. Goku takes him back to Earth, and then returns to the Galactic Patrol ship. Back on Earth, Vegeta immediately goes to Piccolo, filling him in on the situation, and it's pretty good timing too because not too long after, some of the prisoners show up on Earth. Well, at least this time it's not out of the blue, they're prepared. And with Vegeta there, it's not a problem facing them at all. He's so incredibly powerful, plus there's Piccolo too, that makes it pretty much no issue. Gohan will arrive on the fight soon, but they might not even need him. Eventually 7-3 does show up, and this is really the big challenge here. He eventually does end up stealing Piccolo's powers, which makes it a bit tougher, at least for Piccolo. For Vegeta, this isn't an issue. Vegeta's the stronger one, like by a long shot. Fighting someone with Piccolo's powers, that's not going to be too big of a deal, even if he is an android or whatever. Vegeta powers up in the Limit Breaker, finally getting to show it off once more, and 7-3's amazed. He wants to take Vegeta's power now, but it's already too late. Vegeta knows his tricks, he knows what to avoid, and to keep a distance. He doesn't want 7-3 taking his powers because that would be disastrous. He's going to finish this fight right here and right now, and with the power he's using in Limit Breaker, he has more than enough to do so. And 7-3 realizes this as well. If he can't steal Vegeta's powers using his own copy abilities, well, he's going to have to use Moro's powers. But it might be too little too late. As he begins switching powers, Vegeta's already charging up an attack. A brilliant green glow surrounds him. He draws his hands back, then throwing them forward. A final shine attack. 7-3 tries to absorb it, but he hasn't switched fully to Moro's powers yet. So, he confidently takes it on, being completely obliterated in the process. This is good for everyone here. They defeated one of the strongest prisoners, and it's one less person to worry about. And without even knowing it, this guy was a trump card for Moro. Of course, he'll eventually hear about this later on, realizing he lost one of his most valuable assets. Plus, a lot of the other prisoners are being defeated, at least the ones who haven't been defeated already. But this may all be for the better. Leaving them some time allows them to grow stronger, which means they will be better meals once he eventually does go to Earth. But still, he can't help but feeling concerned. Maybe he shouldn't leave them unchecked. Maybe he should go right now. But against his better judgment, he decides to wait. He wants his meals to flourish even more. He'll go to Earth, and by the time he's there, he'll be strong enough to counter whatever strength they have, and then he'll just eat their strength. Meanwhile, Goku continues his training with Mayris, and Mayris is actually pretty surprised to see how far along Goku is with Ultra Instinct. He doesn't have a great control on it just yet, but the fact that he's able to do it at will, well, that's completely unheard of. Not just for mortals, but gods in general. And Goku knows that it's not great. But Mayris says it's exactly the opposite. It is great, it's amazing. Goku shouldn't put himself down for this. This is awesome. Him having this at all is such a huge thing. And it gets him really far ahead in his training, because now they're starting at a farther place. This should go well, and he's confident. Give Goku a few months of training, especially with the Room of Spirit and Time for the Galactic Patrol, and this will make things really easy. He could probably even get that completed version of Ultra Instinct that Whis was telling him about. And Goku's hyped up. He's not too sure about it, and he knows it's going to be hard work, but he's ready for it. He's not going to back down. This will work. He will complete Ultra Instinct, and he'll go far beyond his current limits. More time passes, giving Goku a lot of time to train with the Galactic Patrol, while Vegeta trains up everyone else on Earth. But he's confident. He knows Moro and the prisoners will show up soon enough, but with the power of everyone here on Earth, especially the combined forces that they all have, and Vegeta's power in general, is not going to be a big issue. Any other prisoners can come their way, and they won't be a threat. Moro himself is the only concern. They defeated 7-3, and they haven't encountered anyone stronger ever since. and if he's gone, they should be okay. And eventually the time is up. Moro sends some of his troops to Earth. Now's the time to attack. And just as he expected, everyone on Earth is prepared. This is good. It allows more energy for him to absorb, but it's also a double-edged sword because it means they'll fend off against the prisoners pretty easily. And it's actually way worse than Moro thought. Just as soon as the prisoners get there, well, they're basically all defeated. Even if Vegeta was thus there alone, he'd be able to do this with ease. But he has a whole crew with him too. And Vegeta definitely has gotten stronger in this time. He hasn't just been training up everyone else, he's been training himself. Just like I mentioned before, he wants to get a better grasp on Limit Breaker, and with more practice with it, he's gotten a lot more efficient than he was before, especially compared to how it was on Namek when he fought Moro. It's like he's a completely different person with it. He's still using it very conservatively, just to make sure he doesn't use too much energy, especially before Moro arrives. But eventually he does arrive, and Vegeta's more than ready to face him. Moro's not going to play around here. He sets foot on Earth, ready to absorb some energy already. But before he can, Vegeta powers up, jumping into the battle. And Moro welcomes this. Vegeta knows he's giving off a lot of energy, right? And Vegeta doesn't care. He knows he's giving off a lot. But with how powerful he is, if he kills Moro, it's not going to be an issue. He just needs to work quickly. If he can kill Moro in record time, Moro won't even have any opening to absorb some energy. And Moro's a bit annoyed. Vegeta's acting really cocky. There's no way Vegeta's going to be able to kill him that easily. But Vegeta keeps his promise. He doesn't hold back at all. Of course, he's surprised. Moro is a lot stronger just like he thought. He has been going around absorbing more planets and such. But Moro is equally surprised. Vegeta is a lot stronger than when he fought him on Namek, and he's controlling his energy a lot more efficiently. And Moro doesn't really have as many openings to absorb energy because he keeps getting attacked by Vegeta, and every time he tries to take some more, he becomes too preoccupied with blocking, countering, or attacking. And Vegeta notes this too. Moro might be stronger, but he is as well, and he knows his techniques now. He knows what to avoid, and how to stop him. Absorbing energy is pretty annoying, and it's a pretty stupid technique to have. The fact that he has to rely on others' power to be strong. Moro really is a weakling, isn't he? Vegeta continues taunting him too, hoping that he screws up somewhere. And it's actually working. Vegeta's tactics here are great. He's fighting with so much power that it's actually kind of overwhelming Moro, stopping him from absorbing energy. An unintended side effect, but a great one still. Although, he can tell it might not be as easy as he let on. Of course he's not going to let Moro know, but he's not really that confident right now. The power of Limit Breaker is amazing, but Moro is still draining energy, even if it's not as significant as it was before. He still is worried. If he doesn't end this quickly, things will turn around. And he's trying his hardest, but even with his full power, Moro is still able to be a perfect match for him. And it gets Vegeta wondering, where the hell is Kakarot? But it's good timing, because just as soon as this fight is going on, Goku's able to sense all of this, teleporting in on Earth, showing up nearby. Moro welcomes him too. What techniques is he going to have for this fight? He's ready though, hoping that Goku has a lot more energy because that means it's going to be a lot more for Moro to feast on. And Goku says that's not happening. Oh, he's confident too. But look at Vegeta. Vegeta was just as confident, and he's not winning here. He's losing ground if anything. And Moro can tell, if this fight goes on any longer, he's going to win. Goku coming here will actually be a little bit of a challenge, but if Moro is able to work efficiently and absorb both their energies quickly, he'll come ahead. It's mainly a game of speed right now. Who can come on top the quickest? They're all pretty even in terms of strength. At least Moro thinks so. Goku then powers up. He says he's going to show off Ultra Instinct, but this time it's a little bit different, and Vegeta can immediately tell. The power within it. It's not like the one that he sensed before. Goku is surrounded by a brilliant aura. And it looks like the same Ultra Instinct Omen aura from before, but his hair, it turns completely white now. It looks similar to the other Ultra Instinct, but at the same time, different. He tells Vegeta, now's the time to strike. He doesn't have a great control over this version of Ultra Instinct, but it's so much more powerful than the last one. And in terms of Omen, he could actually use that in this battle, but it's like Vegeta said, it's better if they end this quickly if anything. So Goku's gonna go all out here, and Vegeta is too. He charges up again, expelling even more energy. And now, Moro's actually pretty scared. The two of them fight together, in perfect sync as well. The brute strength of Vegeta's Limit Breaker form, and the grace that Goku fights with his Ultra Instinct. Moro is completely overwhelmed. There's no opening to absorb anything, and even when he tries, the two are fighting smart. Vegeta's using melee attacks, and Goku, he's fighting with distance attacks, but he's not using ki. And Moro can't even hit him at all. Every time he tries to attack Goku, he dodges with ease, attacking too. It's all automatic. His body is moving on its own. And the two are ready to finish off. Goku lunges in towards Moro, hitting him with an uppercut to the jaw, trying to keep it shut. He knows Moro is going to try to eat their energy, so just prevent him from doing so. Vegeta creates a circle of ki, and he uses it to tie Moro's mouth shut. It's only temporary, but who cares? It's going to be more than enough time for them. Goku appears behind Moro, sweeping at his legs, causing him to lose his footing. And then with another kick, he launches Moro up in the sky. Vegeta once again charges the final Shine attack, and Goku charges the Kamehameha. They launched it in unison, with the attacks swirling together. The brilliant green and blue beam hits Moro head on. He has no time to absorb it at all, and he's completely obliterated by the attack. The two power down. Both impressed with each other's performance, they were each trying to get ahead of the other. But it's clear that that's not going to work. Every time they think they surpass the other, they each have unlocked something new that amazes them. It's a vicious cycle, but a good one. It keeps them motivated, and it keeps them training. Vegeta will continue working on Limit Breaker, while Goku tries to get a better grasp on Ultra Instinct. Even though they've evolved it a lot by now, they still have a lot of room to grow. And they're still going to have a lot more fights in the future, not just between each other, but against actual formidable foes. But what lies ahead for them? Well, that's a story for another time, because right now, I feel like this is a safe spot to end off. So, what did you guys think about this scenario? Leave any thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think, because I'd love to see what you guys thought about this story. And as always, if you liked the video, as well as the series as a whole, be sure to drop a like. It lets me know that you want to see more videos like this, and it really does help out the channel. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and be sure to also hit that bell icon so you're notified about any future uploads to my channel, including more videos like this one, or any other videos in general. Anyways, thank you all for watching, thanks for supporting this scenario, and I'll see you all in my next video.